One of the things I absolutely love about card games like Pokemon Pocket is the deck building aspect that they contain. This is because it's kind of a game within the game that I can be thinking about even when I'm not actively playing. Just constantly thinking about what tech card do I want to play in that last flex spot. Are we in a Giovanni metagame? Is Cyrus or Sabrina better for the lineup of characters that I'm playing? And then getting to execute those theories and figure out which ones work best in practice is something that I absolutely love about gaming. RPGs are very similar. I think about them constantly when I'm really invested in one, figuring out what team combinations or gear configurations I'm going to be hunting for inside of dungeon runs to try and upgrade my characters and hit those key breakpoints to allow me to conquer whatever content I'm looking to get through. Today's video is sponsored by an RPG that I have spent a ton of time playing and even more time thinking about trying to maximize my gear and my teams to the greatest efficiency. Raid Shadow Legends, and they have a killer promo going on right now with one of my favorite cartoons from my childhood, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If you're new to Raid and you give it an install right now using my QR code that's on the screen or my link in the video description down below, you're going to get Michelangelo just for logging in for 7 days. You're going to be able to fuse Donatello as well as summon other fan favorite characters like Leonardo, Raphael, April, and Shredder from other limited time events that are going on in the game right now. There's never been a better time to dive into Raid Shadow Legends than right now. In addition to Michelangelo, from a login reward, you're going to get 2 free epics Ultimate Galek right away, as well as Fayne, an incredibly potent poison and debuffer when you reach level 15, and you're going to get your selection of a second legendary character using a code of your choice. You can get the Green Warden Ruark using code Treehugger, Alice the Wanderer from Alice in Wonderland using code GetAlice, Thunanark using promo code Desert Queen, Sun Wukong the Monkey King using code Monkey King, Tholan Farbeard by using code Demon Slayer, or UD King to get the Ultimate Death Knight. Just scan the QR code that's on the screen or use my link in the video description down below to dive in now. One of the best ways I think I could show you I've spent so much time thinking about and playing Raid Shadow Legends is showcasing some of the awesome range of boss battles with different abilities that you need to problem solve your team composition to get through. Let's go ahead and look at 4 of the bosses you're going to encounter in Raid's dungeons. We've arrived at the dragon boss. Let's run through how this battle works here today. We've got the typical can't be chunked by more than 10%, as well as resistance to a lot of different controlling effects that are common in Raid. And this one has the added also can't have its speed decreased or its turn meter reduced. This is a big one because the key mechanic of this battle is this toxic incineration. It hits all enemies and deals pure damage and does a stun debuff that cannot be resisted. However, this skill gets locked and hidden if the dragon takes enough damage while the skill is unlocked. So this is a hidden skill that can't be used directly, but instead gets activated from this other skill that it uses. So the basic idea here is you want to be set up to deal a large chunk of damage to get through the threshold to lock and put away this big powerful skill before it stuns your entire group of characters. So a really important mechanic for this dragon boss is having poison of your own, because poison deals damage based on a percentage of the character's HP, which means it can deal large chunks to allow us to get through this bar and dodge our heroes attacking it. Our setup here has our champion here to set up poison. We've got the Stag Knight that can provide some debuffs. It'll make its defense lower to take more damage and reduce its attack so that way it hits a little bit less hard. We've got the Arbiter who provides revives as well as buffs for our team. We've got another healer here who also can revive in case the Arbiter goes down. And then we've got Trunda who can deal a little bit of damage, but her primary function was to help us get through the waves on the way here, and she does more minimal damage to the boss overall compared to our Poisoner. Let's go ahead and run through what this fight looks like. You can see the poison sensitivity, and then those debuffs get applied like I was talking about here, and then we get those poison stacks applied. See all that poison building up on the dragon, going to be able to do large amounts of damage every time it takes a turn. And we can see here, this is where the dragon has gone up into that hidden skill. We got part of its HP bar is purple, and this represents the amount of damage we need to do in order to not take the big hit from it. Now, all of these instances of poison here are going to do damage to it when the dragon's turn start. That should hopefully be enough to damage through this so it doesn't get to do a big attack on our characters. And you can see there, when it finally gets to its turn, a big chunk of its HP disappears from that poison. It does a smaller singular attack as opposed to getting to stun all of our team. It did knock out our poisoner there, but that's why we have two different characters that can provide revives to keep her back up and going to get through the rest of this dragon. And there she goes. Poison takes it down. The Ice Golem is a formidable foe that has a lot going on. Let's dig into what we need to be doing to have success inside of this fight. At face value, he's got some base protection. You can't chunk his health down more than 10% in a single hit. And he's immune to a bunch of typical controlling style effects that you'd be using to get through waves of smaller enemies on your way here. He is immune to poison and poison sensitivity. However, he takes extra damage from HP burn, which is a useful debuff to be applying here. The key of his mechanic, though, here is the Frozen Reckoning. He attacks all enemies one time when his HP drops below certain thresholds, and this attack revives any dead allies at 100 HP. And you can see we have two allies here in front of him. That being said, it's still really important that you're able to kill those two allies in this fight, because his attack ignores 50% of your defense for each ally remaining alive, and the freeze debuff that he has a chance to place increases by 40% to 60 and then 100 if both of his allies remain. So a big part of this fight is not only getting HP burned down and making sure you're killing these enemies, but you specifically want to be trying to stop them from reviving, so that way you don't have to keep chunking through them every single time inside of the fight. He also has just regular attacks here whenever his turn meter gets full and he gets to take his hits, making your character slower and dealing some damage and making your buffs less likely to apply, and then it just attacks everything all around. So my team here that I got through the waves with has a little bit of a pretty good mix of things. So we have two DPSs. We have Trunda here, who does AoE damage and HP burn, the debuff that's useful here. We have Rotos, who's able to stop things from coming back to life if he kills them with a singular skill. We've got two supports over here on the left and in the center that are able to both provide healing and res our champion should they die during the fight. And then our champion here, second from the left, applies weakness and defense down, letting our characters hit a little harder, and she can periodically prevent things from reviving as well. So let's go ahead and let our champions fight here and show you how a little bit of this battle goes into the end. You can see here our team went ahead and cleared both the little ones, so that way they don't get to go ahead and hit with that defense. And you saw when his thing happened, you saw denied appeared on each of these. That's from our champion here denying that initial resurrection. The second time through, her res denied had already been used up, so they went ahead and came back, and we're going to have to go ahead and punch our way through these enemies this time through. You see that Boundless Life ability proccing on her every time it gets to her turn, helping keep our characters alive. I do expect some of them will die at some point, though, and we'll have to have the res skills get used. So So you can see here, block revive happened on Rotos that time, so this one's going to be stopped from coming back altogether. When we hit that next break point, it's only going to get to revive one of these. We can see that big slam there, and this one is down for good, thanks to Rotos. There's another block revive, so now their characters are not going to get to come back anymore. It hits us with that big hit, and the revives get blocked thanks to Rotos' skill being the thing that was able to take them out. And from here, the boss should be pretty trivial for the team to manage. We find ourselves in the realm of the Fire Golem. Let's dig into the mechanics of how this fight works. Its primary mechanic is the Divine Shield that it starts its battle with and regenerates at the start of each of its turns here. So we see this 12 here. This is how many times we have to hit this Golem in order to wear its shield all the way down. And while that shield's active, it takes 80% less damage and prevents it from receiving any debuffs. So we also have the typical immune to a lot of controlling effects and then can't be hit for large amounts of damage. And then on top of that, it also only takes 50% turn meter reduction. So our team here is based around characters that can hit twice. We see when we send Arbiter in, she hits twice on her auto attack. Our Allure here in the front, her auto attack not only hits 4 separate times, but also does some turn meter reduction. Our Stag Knight hits twice, so does Sael. And then Cold Heart over here has a multi-attack on her auto that also makes it, and also has a turn meter drop on her big one. So we want to get through the shields on this boss and then have Allure's turn meter reduction as well as Cold Heart's big one, try and stave off at getting another turn to put that big shield back up so we can go ahead and take it down. Let's see how this fight goes ahead to play out with the team I've selected. You can see there when the shield breaks and Allure drops its turn meter count for a little bit. Cold Hearts should reduce it a little bit more. We have Allure on her auto attack, going to send that turn meter back down, denying it the turn. And ideally, Cold Heart's big turn meter drop is going to be ready before it gets a turn here. There's that Heart Seeker, and we see that bar underneath it, send it all the way back down. Our character's kind of working exactly how we have it drawn up here, denying this Golem from ever getting a turn and the ability to put its shield back up here. Every time that Allure takes her auto attack, it goes ahead and pulls that meter down, and if it ever gets too high, Cold Heart's ability should be back up to drop it a large amount. We go ahead and we take it down there without it ever getting a chance to put that shield back up again. Next up, we find ourselves facing down an army of arachnids. A giant brood mother with all of her tiny spiderlings spawns 6 at the start of each round, and then 2 during each enemy champion's turn, and then 4 at the end of its turn. When it gets to the big spider's turn, it consumes all of the remaining spiderlings, and it heals HP and permanently increases her attack for each one, and your lifesteal artifacts only get to heal a little bit extra. She is also notably immune to healing reduction debuffs, and takes less damage from poison, and she's immune to all the typical CC controls one. As they often say, timing is everything, and this team that I have sculpted for this boss is very carefully timed. We go ahead and we start with this champion here that's going to apply weakness as well as defense down to the spiderlings as well as the big spider to make them all take more damage. Then our royal guards slam into everything for big amounts of damage, and our cold hearts have a skill that drops the turn meter of their target, allowing us to deny this spider extra turns to give us more time to smash through it. Let's go ahead and see if that works out in practice like it does in theory. And you could see there The turn meter on the spider dropped down when that arrow from the Cold Heart happened, and our first Royal Guard smashed a bunch of the spiders. Then that extra big arrow from the Cold Heart goes ahead and takes it right on down. One of the faster boss runs for my account with this very efficient and well-designed team for it. To touch on a few of the champions that I used in that content here for a moment, something that I think Raid does quite well is making champions accessible to solve the PvE content that you want to conquer. Frozen Banshee that we used to beat the dragon is a rare champion, as is Cold Heart that we used inside of the spider, as well as the fire golem. You saw me utilize Stag Knight in a couple of those battles as a debuffer. He's an epic champion. We have the Royal Guard as another epic. We have Allure as yet another, and the couple of legendary champions that I was using in there as well are also ones that you obtain from just playing through the game and completing content. Sayel, I think, is one of my favorite healers and resurrectors in the game. She's actually one of the login reward champions that you get for playing the game and logging in every day. Arbiter is another one that you obtain from completing content in the game, as is Lydia, that resurrection denier that you saw me utilize inside of the Ice Golem. In fact, talking about some of the champions that you get just for logging in, Fayne, one of the promo epics that you're going to get if you're a new player installing Raid right now, is quite a potent champion at applying debuffs like poison and defense down to weakness that is quite good at helping you conquer a number of the bosses like I showed today. What are you waiting for? Start your journey into Raid Shadow Legends now and start building up your own roster of awesome characters to tackle all of the incredible content that it has to offer using my QR code on the screen or my link in the video description down below. Remember, you get 4 free champions. You get Ultimate Galek right away. You get Fayne when you achieve level 15. You get Michelangelo from a 7-day login reward, and you get your choice of an additional legendary who personally I think I would take the Green Warden Ruark as a new player using code TreeHugger because he looks awesome. But if that's not your vibe, you also have Alice the Wanderer from code GetAlice, Thuanark from the Desert Queen promo code, Sun Wukong from code Monkey King, Tholan Farbeard using promo code Demon Slayer, and the Ultimate Death Knight from code UD King. Shout out to Raid again for sponsoring today's video and for making a fantastic game that I've lost so many hours problem solving and playing inside of.